Hi, I'm Jim Knotts, President and CEO of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. Welcome to today's virtual reading of the names. 2022 marks the 40th anniversary of the dedication of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. As part of our commemoration, we'll host an in-person reading of the names at the wall from November 7th through 10th, 2022, when all 58,281 names on the wall will be read aloud. In the lead up to that event, we'll be reading names each day online while sharing the photos of these heroes. For our daily virtual reading, the names of the service members will be read by month and day of death between the years 1956 and 1975 in alphabetical order for the given day. We apologize in advance for any mispronunciations. Know that our readers are doing their best to honor these service members. We hope you'll listen and watch each day and share with others as we remember and honor those who gave their lives during the Vietnam War.
Roosevelt Abraham Jr., Leo Joe Adekai, John Robert Anelli, Carlos A. Baldazan Izquierdo, Terry Lyman Baldwin, Thomas Campbell Bamford, Norman Lee Barton, Bruce Allen Berg, Orrin Lothier Bingham, Thomas Joseph Blanchard, George Leander Bourne, Terrence Carmine Brazil, Thomas Tad Brown, Edward Bruno, Eric Peter Bush, Stanley R. Bustamante Jr., Jose Antonio Carrion, Bruce Wayne Carter, Richard Ralph Serra, Thomas Lee Clark Jr., Roberto Covarrubias, Aaron Washington Cochran, Charles Michael Collier, Donald Clay Coulter, John Nelson Crawford Jr., Darrell Chester Culver, Gordon Allen Dadisman, Robert Julian Davis Jr., Jose Celso de Jesus Colon, Pedro Ascension de Lora, Bobby Lynn Eaton, Malcolm Marcellin Esparza, John Harper Evans Jr., Willie Fields Jr., William Charlie Fitzgerald, Raul Flores, Charles Wigger Fryer, Robert Eugene Garrett, Frank Daniel George, James Francis Gillies, Harold Edwin Gray Jr., Lauren Douglas Hagan, Timothy Charles Hannigan, Robert Greg Hansen, Dana Allen Harrison, Ernest Hurd Jr., Anthony Hine, Michael James Hiller, William Joseph Hines, David Ray Howard, Gerald Michael Hyatt, Lawrence Henry Jackson, Jerry Kenneth Jordan, Theodore C. Kapmeyer, Brian Thomas Kay, David Charles Kiefer, Ronald Renee Kirkpatrick, Clifford Damon LaChance, Bobby Dean Lively, Donald Henry Mabry, Robert William McNaught, Morris A. Mallard, Jr., John P. Marlowe, John Joseph Maslick,
Richard T. McAndrew, Jr., William Earl McDavid, Emmett Deneen McClellan, Ralph Burton Mitchell, Paul Vincent Moore, Michael Aubrey Mormon, Richard Allen Moran, William Murphy, Robert Franklin Olson, Stephen Blake Peel, Thomas Lee Piper, Joseph Samuel Porter, Jr., Alfred Frank Pospisil, Bobby Ray Quisenberry, Sonny Ramey, Charles Leonard Reefer, John Eugene Reynolds, James Milton Robbins, George Washington Shook, Nicholas Lee Schroeder, David Lee Scott, Richard Morris Seymour, Stephen Paul Shaner, Thomas Welch Shea, John Richard Sharrock, Jr., Louis Leroy Short, Elliot Simmons, Jr., Ben Wesley Stevens, Vernon Jean Stitch, Larry William Swigum, William J. Thiesfeld Colazzo, Milford Marvin Tognazzini, Van Vernon Trantham III, James Earl Turner, Harold Sean Tursky, James Edwin Werner, Alan Rudolph Vilkas, Stephen Michael Wade, Walter Lee Walls, Frederick Walsh, Alderman Caraway West Jr., Gary Lynn Williams, Willie Rogers Williams, Richard Lee Wilson, Edmund Dale Wimmergren, James Arthur Winfrey, Narvin Otto Whitman, Jr., Marshall David Wolford, Lionel Workman,